Good morning. This is Lisa Cummings, and I want to thank everybody for joining us today for the Integrating Dynamics 365 with your telephony system Makes Good Business Sense webinar. Presenting with us today will be Parig McTiernan. He is the product manager for Dynamics Telephony, and with him we also have Eddie Steed, Dynamics Telephony's Director of Sales and Marketing. We also are encouraging everybody to attend GPUG Summit 2018 in October from the 15th through the 18th in Phoenix. And you can go to the website address that you see here listed on the slide and register, and we would love to see everybody there. A lot of education, a lot of networking opportunities to meet with other GPUG users like yourself.
Okay, great. Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, that's someone who's definitely well worth attending. This is Parig McTiernan, Product Manager with Dynamics Telephony. And what I'm going to talk about today are the top reasons why you should telephony enable your Dynamics CRM. I'm going to run through a demonstration of our own Dynamics Telephony product, which seamlessly integrates telephony into Dynamics CRM. And then just a quick slide on what to expect during an implementation project so you can get an idea of how big such a project might be. And then we'll open up for questions and answers at the end. So please just put your questions into the chat window as we go along, and we'll deal with them all at the end. Okay, so first of all, into the top reasons. And I suppose, save time, save money, they're kind of the same reason, but I've put them as number 1 and 2. What telephony integration does for you is it automatically does a customer lookup with an inbound call, does a customer lookup in CRM, showing you the customer record and the interaction history. So that's going to save you time straight away in getting started with the customer. Frequently when you're dealing with customers in an inbound call center as well as outbound, you need to log every call, and this is something that can take time and also is frequently forgotten. But there's time to be saved there too. And then there are outbound sales automation features, dialer campaign type features, which will save a lot of time and money too. And it all adds up to reduced call handling time. Number 3 is ease of call handling. So a toolbar there right in CRM that can give you, answering the call, releasing the call, putting the call on hold, taking it off hold, doing transfers, all of those things, buttons right in CRM is going to make it much easier for your users to deal with the phone call itself. Screen transfer is a very powerful feature. This is when, a call is taken by one agent and they need to transfer to a back office or a different agent. So during that process, the second agent can also see the same customer record. That's going to be a big time saver and a customer service hit because, the second agent won't have to ask the customer the same bunch of questions. Superior customer service is going to fall out of all of this due to faster calls. And because we have done a screen pop at the start of the call, you're ready to greet the customer personally. You already know their name. You've gotten your head around their name if it's a little bit strange. So you're ready to greet the customer personally and get off to a good customer service start. And finally, in my list is data. So all data, telephony data needs to be in CRM. It needs to be in there for every call. It needs to be never forgotten. That's what telephony integration will give you. You'll get a full interaction history in CRM to allow you to do proper analysis rather than, guessing what the data might be. You can get a full call trace. So if you have a customer who's been dealt with by different agents, then you can follow that through in CRM, and you can see all the notes in CRM, and you can see each agent, how long they spent with the customer. It's all going to be in there automatically. The telephony data being in CRM also enables unified reports, so unified business and telephony reports, and an example of that might be the average talk time by call reason. So you can see for the different reasons that people call in that certain reasons are taking more talk time, and maybe you can deal with those better than on your website or other channels to try and remove those from your call center. And ready for artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is coming down the line. Most of us have met it in the chatbots. It's going to come into the call center as well. And here's just 4 possibilities of how it might end up in the call center. But you need data in your CRM. You need the call data in your CRM to be able to get ready for AI, to be able to take advantage of these kinds of AI features. And you would need, like a year's worth of data or whatever to be able to put together these things. So things like the best time to call somebody, that's going to save an awful lot of efforts, because on average it takes 4 efforts to call somebody. So if you know the best time already to call somebody, that it's, on a Monday afternoon, then you're going to get it in one. Best number to call, if there are several numbers that people have, you'll know the best one to call on. The reason for a call as it comes in, and the likely length of a call is an interesting one. So those chatty customers, you'll be able to see those versus those people who don't say a lot. And you can use that to predict the likely length of a call. So what I want to do now is move on to a demonstration where I'll run through our own Dynamics Telephony product and its features. So on your screen now, you're seeing what looks like the familiar CRM, but there's an extra toolbar up here at the top. So Dynamics Telephony puts a telephony toolbar right into CRM so that when calls arrive, you can handle them using the answer buttons up here and release buttons and transfer them. So what I'll do is I'll just send in a phone call, and let's see what happens. So here comes a phone call into our telephony, and what's happened here is we've matched up on 2 contacts. So there are 2 contacts in the system with the same phone number, and we've pulled up both of them so you can answer the call and talk to the customer. The likely situation here is that these 2 people are in the same company, and so that's why they have the same phone number. So you would talk to them and find out which one it is, and whichever one it is, you click on it here in this list, and then that's going to immediately pop open the contact card for that customer, and now you're able to get started. So whether you're working on cases or opportunities, whatever way you organize your interactions with the customer, you will have customized this screen and you will be ready to go. In the activities area here, you will see all the previous activities and notes that people would have put in against them. And this top one here is the current activity. So this is the one that we're actually talking to the customer on at the moment. What I can do with the call also then is I can release the call. So a little red button up here to release the call. I can put the call on hold and then on hold, or I can transfer the call. So these might be a list of internal and external parties that I might want to transfer to. So I can do one-click transfer to those, which would be what we call a blind transfer, where you don't need to talk to the person you're transferring to, or we can do a consult transfer, and that's when the screen transfer happens and the second agent gets the same view, the same contact is going to appear up on their screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to terminate that call, so I can release it here, and Dynamics Telephony toolbar, and I hang up the call. You'll see here on the top right, I've gone into wrap time. So you can allow time after the call for your users to put in notes or whatever. And you can disable this wrap time if you don't need it, or you can make it longer. Or you can skip the wrap time, and I've got a skip wrap time button up here, or I can pause the wrap time. I just hit the pause button here, and then I'll be available for the next call. So the wrap time actually expired there, and we did take note that all the required fields were filled in, and therefore we allow the wrap time to expire, and we can allow the next phone call to come in. So I'll just fire in another phone call here. This one here should have only one match in CRM. So this one here is from a different number, and because it's coming in from a different number, we've matched on a different person, Nancy Anderson, and we've already popped her contact before we even answer the call. The other thing to note here is that we've detected that the call is coming in on a particular line. So we've called this line VIP inbound, and we've given it a logo. You can define many lines. So if you've got different lines coming in for different kinds of customers, or they come in for different reasons through your IBR, we can pop a little hint up here to the agent to say what line they came in on, and a little logo to help them recognize that quickly. So again, I can answer this call, and the other thing to note is up here top right, we're measuring the talk time. So we measure all the time periods in the call, the talk time, the wrap time, the idle time, all of these times, and they're all stored in CRM so that you can generate reports afterwards. Okay, so I'm just going to hang this one up, and I'm just going to pause it, because what I want to do is decided I want to call this person back. So I've got anywhere in CRM that you see a phone number, you can click on it and we'll dial it for you. So that might be, you know, a phone number in a contact card like this. It might be a phone number in a list of contacts that you have to contact today. Then you would, so that might be a list, something. I'll just go to all my contacts, sales, contacts. So these phone numbers here on the contacts, you can click on those and they will dial as well. So if you need to speed through these, that would be a quick way to do it. But I can click to dial here and I can make the call, and again you can see top right, we're measuring the ringing time. And then I'm just going to answer that call. So I've answered it, and you can see it's gone to the talk state, and then I'll hang up on the customer side. And again, we're back into the wrap time. One of the things that we can also do is manage callbacks. So if I hit the callback button here, I can set up a callback for some time in the future. I'm just going to fast forward over that again, and that's the end of that call too. The other scenario I want to give you a quick look at is the outbound dialer functionality. Now there will be another webinar in the future about outbound sales. There's an awful lot more to the outbound dialer functionality than I'm going to show you, but I'm just going to show you how quickly you can speed through a few calls. So if I just go ready here, there have been some calls already loaded into a CRM queue, and here's the first one. So the call just pops out, tells me what it's about, that it's a lead, and I just click accept, and you can see top right, we've gone into the preview state, and it's counting down the preview time. And when the preview time is finished, it's going to auto dial the call. Let's just give that a couple of seconds there. Now it's auto dialing the call, and you can see the timer top right is counting down. So when that gets to 0, we're going to call this a no answer and automatically load up the next lead to be called. So you can speed through the no answers and the busies really fast. It's a great way to get through a lot of calls. So that one went to no answer. It set itself as no answer and closed, and the next one is going to pop in once I go ready again. I'll just go not ready there, because I want to show you now the data side of what we've collected. So in Dynamics CRM, we've saved all of the data. So here on the right-hand side, we're able to make a call outcome analysis chart. So this shows the outcomes of all calls. For a purely inbound call center, you're going to mainly have missed calls, rejected calls, and answered calls are the default ones, and maybe callbacks. For outbound call centers, then you're going to have all of the outbound outcomes as well, things like no answer and maybe trash for leads that somebody's marked as trash. On the left-hand side here, you can see the time. So we're measuring the ring time, offering time, preview time, wrap time, all the times are added up here. These charts can be shown on a per agent basis or a per group basis. So you can give agents their own individual charts so they can keep track of how they're doing. And supervisors would have a chart that covers all of their agents so they can see how their own agents are doing. Another dashboard that we can put in CRM with telephony, enablement is a real-time display. So this is a real-time display. There'll be a row in here for every user on the system and the state that they're in. So you remember I put myself in not ready just before I came here to this screen. But it shows the last call that I made, and it's also showing who I was talking to and the time, the length of time that I've been in this. We can have colors flashing here depending on people staying too long in certain states and all that kind of thing. And the other thing that I wanted to show you was the actual call data that we have in the CRM. So this is call by call, so it's every single call. So these are all the calls that we did just before this demonstration and during this demonstration. So you can see the calls, this 3300 here, this is my VIP line. So we know these are calls that came in on the VIP line. We can see the duration of the call and the talk time of the call. So the duration of the call includes, you know, any preview time before the call and any wrap time after the call. So it's a full call handling time, whereas the talk time is the physical talking time. And we can see the user or the agent who made or took the call, what the outcome was, were they missed calls or were they no answer calls in the case of outbound, and so on. There's a lot of data here, and it's all in your CRM and empowers you to make your own reports and, as I said, enable AI type features in the future. So I'm going to go back now to the slides and talk about the project as I see it. So a telephony enablement project, a good idea would be to pre-test with something like Dynamics Telephony. So, you know, you get a product like this and you can have it on free trial and you can see how it works out of the box and you can say to yourself, that's nice, but, you know, there's a few little things I'd like to change about that. And that's when you start to get into your project. The other thing that you'll determine in your pre-test is that your phone system itself is compatible and it's able to be integrated into your CRM. We haven't met one yet that we can't, but it is a concern that people have. You know, is my phone system able to do it? Is it too old, or is it just strange? So you can do that with the pre-test as well. And then you would move into a workshop phase where you need to work out the processes. You know, exactly what do people need to fill in CRM now that they have telephony enablement, and what do they not need to fill in anymore, and how is the whole call going to flow. So you need to just document all of that and think about it, and maybe you're going to decide to put a few new fields in your CRM and so on. And you're going to think about reporting as well, what kind of reports you want afterwards. And then implementation itself, which would include all of this pre-test and workshop. For a basic implementation that's, you know, doesn't want much changes, and products like Dynamics Telephony, they're very, very flexible. An awful lot of changes can be done with just configuration settings. You know, you'd be looking at a 5-day or a 1-week implementation period. For a more advanced, it's probably more like 4 weeks. A couple of important things in your project are the pre-run that I've kind of set up at the top there, the pre-test. And then, you know, as you go through the whole thing testing with your prime users, not just with UAT or tester type people. Documentation, obviously, as you go along, documenting all of the things, and agent training. It's very important that agents do go through a formal training, even though it's very easy to use, as I'm sure you've seen on the way along there. It's still very important because agents can, they can just build up a resistance to it. And as I've said over here on the left-hand side, don't forget the agents WIFM, which stands for what's in it for me. So the agents should clearly see that they're getting benefits out of this. They're saving time at the start of every call. They're seeing the call history. There's a lot less clicks they have to do in CRM. And in the case of outbound salespeople, they're going to make more sales. They're going to make an awful lot more sales because it's just going to fly through. So I've just gone a little bit over my time, which is not too bad. And if there are any questions, maybe now is the time to get them over to me.
Okay, so far I'm not seeing anything in the queue. If anybody has any questions that you may not have thought of during the presentation today and you may think of later, or you just need to discuss further about the telephony product, there's Chelsea, Ashley, and my information will help guide you in the direction you need to go. I want to thank everybody for being on the presentation today, and thank you, Parig and Eddie, for being here and for presenting. Hope everybody has a great week, and we will be talking with you soon.